Saudi Arabia's 2022 miracle stunned 88,012 souls. Reality fractured. They destroyed Argentina. It became their ultimate triumph. That single, blistering victory in Qatar flipped the axis of international football upside down. In this explainer, we're looking at the burden of that miracle and their journey to the 2026 World Cup. See, glory demands payment. That historic moment forged an invisible, crushing weight around their necks, the Lusail miracle. A blessing, a curse. Every move they make today lives directly in its suffocating shadow. The nation expects miracles instantly. The fans demand perfection. Can they escape it? Can any team survive the immense pressure of their own impossible legend?
2022 changed everything. Salem Al-Dawsari struck gold. He spun, he fired, he conquered. That sensational reality-bending strike past Emiliano Martinez flipped the script on global football forever. The Green Falcons soared higher than anyone ever imagined possible. They ripped the crown from Lionel Messi's head for 90 glorious minutes. But expectations skyrocketed immediately. They tasted true power. They craved more. The streets erupted in pure madness. A national holiday followed instantly, but the hangover arrived eventually. The euphoria faded into a harsh, undeniable reality. They set a standard they could never naturally maintain.
Hervé Renard unleashed the madness. Sometimes something completely crazy can happen, he declared. He engineered that impossible reality. He demanded absolute fearlessness from every single player on that pitch. Then he left. What happened next changed everything. The aggressive, high-pressing identity he built dissolved rapidly. The miracle cast a suffocating shadow over the national squad. They lost their architect, they lost their tactical anchor. The swagger vanished, the confidence evaporated. They suddenly looked ordinary again. How do you replace a mastermind?
Part 1. The Road to America. Every move today lives in the shadow of that single, reality-shattering moment. The road to 2026 tested their absolute limits.
The coaching carousel spun wildly out of control. March 2023, Renard leaves. October 2024, Mancini exits. April 2026, Donis arrives. Qualification brought brutal, unforgiving warfare. They survived a terrifying group stage. Iraq pushed them. Indonesia battled hard. The team looked totally unrecognizable from the titans of Qatar. They stumbled. They hesitated. They ground out ugly, desperate results across the Asian continent. The beautiful football vanished entirely. They relied on sheer willpower to cross the finish line. 8 wins, 4 losses, 6 draws. A grueling, agonizing marathon just to secure their ticket. Why did the magic fade? While Roberto Mancini arrived with European prestige, he promised total dominance. He stumbled drastically. 5 points in 4 third-round qualifiers sealed his ultimate fate. The Italian maestro could not unlock the Saudi spirit. A furious, deeply bitter exit followed. The national team plunged into disarray. George Stonis stepped directly into the roaring fire. He took the reins just 59 days before the tournament. A desperate gamble, a final roll of the dice.
Can Donis replicate the miracle? The journeyman manager knows the Saudi system intimately. He understands the crushing burden of expectation. He breathes the pressure. He knows the players' mentalities from his time in the domestic league. Time remains his greatest enemy. He must forge a lethal weapon from fractured pieces. He must unite a divided locker room instantly. There is no time for long tactical seminars. There is only time for war. Will his localized knowledge translate to the grandest global stage?
Part 2. Tactics in the Mastermind. Look, smash that subscribe button right now if you bleed football and want more raw, unfiltered World Cup stories, because the pressure on the streets of Riyadh is absolute madness.
Deadly counterattacks versus defensive fragility. The fans demand blood. They demand glory. They accept zero excuses. Donis hears them loudly. He brings a radically different tactical blueprint. The high-pressing arrogance of 2022 dies here. He installs a pragmatic, deeply cynical system designed purely for survival. He abandons possession. He builds deadly counterattacks. They surrender the ball entirely. They sit deep. Then they strike. They hunt in packs to launch vicious, high-speed assaults. It requires ruthless precision. It demands total physical commitment. When the opponent overcommits, the Green Falcons explode forward like lightning. They use the blistering pace of their wingers to slice through exposed defenses. It is ugly. It is effective. It is their only hope.
But the real story? That comes in 60 seconds. Their defensive lines fracture under intense pressure. The Lusail miracle demands perfection, but cracks remain glaringly exposed. Hassan Al-Tambakti marshals the backline with raw aggression. Yet sustaining possession paralyzes their momentum. When forced to dictate play against superior midfielders, they stumble. They fall short. They invite too much pressure onto their own penalty area. Will this fragile system survive the global elite? Can you defend for 89 minutes and pray for one lucky break?
Part 3. Veterans and Rising Stars.
We've got Salem Al-Dawsari, the two-time Asian Player of the Year, and Firas Al-Buraikan, who banged in 5 goals in qualifying. Tactics mean absolutely nothing without cold-blooded executioners. Salem Al-Dawsari carries the entire nation on his back. He remains the undisputed talisman. He controls the tempo, he delivers the impossible, he possesses that rare, unteachable X-factor. When the game locks up, he kicks down the door. But age catches up relentlessly. The 34-year-old warrior feels the miles in his legs. He cannot fight this brutal war alone. Firas Al-Buraikan answered the call. He spearheaded the brutal qualifying campaign. He delivered 5 crucial goals when the team desperately needed a lifeline. He strikes with venom. He punishes mistakes. The Al-Ali striker represents the lethal edge of their attacking spear. He moves with silent, terrifying efficiency inside the box. While Al-Dawsari creates the chaos, Al-Buraikan finishes the job. They form a deadly, unpredictable partnership. But is domestic dominance enough to terrify European defenders?
Nobody saw what was coming next. Saudi talent invaded Europe. The old boundaries disintegrated completely. For decades, their greatest stars stayed home. The domestic league kept them incredibly comfortable. They earned fortunes, they lived like kings. 2025 shattered that isolated tradition forever. They crossed the borders, they sought European glory, they embraced the brutal, freezing reality of top-flight continental football. This mass exodus fundamentally altered the DNA of the national team.
Saud Abdulhamid became an RC Lens history maker, while Marwan Al-Sahafi erupted as a Belgian breakout star. Saud Abdulhamid shocked the continent. He became the first Saudi to score in France's Ligue 1. He races down the flank. He attacks relentlessly. He defends with absolute intensity. Meanwhile, Marwan Al-Sahafi conquered Belgium. He unleashed pure, untamed power at Beerschot and Antwerp. He proved Saudi attackers possessed the raw physicality required for Europe. They bring a hardened, battle-tested intensity back to the national squad. They learn how to suffer.
Listen to this. He has fully adapted to European football, declared Pierre Sage regarding Abdulhamid. He proved the doubters wrong. He forged a new, violent path forward. He survived the crucible of Roma. He thrives in France. This evolution changes the Green Falcons' entire dynamic. They no longer rely solely on domestic momentum. They carry the cold, clinical, tactical awareness forged in Europe's most demanding leagues. Are they finally ready for the world stage?
Part 4. The streets breathe football.
Back home, the Lusail miracle pulses through every single alleyway. Will they prove it wasn't a fluke? The nation breathes football. It consumes them. It defines them. From the coastal roads of Jeddah to the sprawling highways of Riyadh, the passion burns white-hot. It transcends mere sport. It forms the very rhythm of their daily lives. The cafes overflow. The streets flood with green. They live for these 90 minutes of absolute warfare. Omar Khayyat said it perfectly. Al Ittihad isn't just a team, it's like our homeland club. Drums beat relentlessly. Voices roar into the night. Football here operates as an absolute religion. The fans travel thousands of miles. They paint the foreign stadiums green. They demand nothing less than unyielding commitment on the pitch. They will bring this terrifying, deafening energy to North America. They will turn Miami and Atlanta into Riyadh outposts.
But here is the part nobody is talking about. The 2034 World Cup looms massively on the horizon. Saudi Arabia hosts the world. That changes everything. Every single drop of sweat in 2026 dictates their global legacy forever. They cannot embarrass themselves. They must prove they belong among the true elite. They must lay the psychological foundation for a historic home tournament. Billions of dollars ride on their performance. Failure is simply not an option.
Part 5. The 2026 Verdict. North America awaits.
Group H brings absolute, unforgiving warfare. They fly directly into the storm. The ghost of Lusail demands a spectacular repeat performance. The world watches closely. Can they shock the planet again? Or will the crushing burden of expectation destroy them completely? The draw showed zero mercy. They face European champion Spain. They battle a deeply ruthless Uruguay. Cabo Verde waits in the shadows. The group stage represents a terrifying gauntlet. Spain holds the ball endlessly. Uruguay brings the violence and their famous Garra Charrua. Cabo Verde brings pure, chaotic unpredictability. The Green Falcons must survive this relentless onslaught. They must suffer without the ball for hours.
The burden of the miracle. It defines them totally. They will suffer. They will defend desperately. They are praying for one perfectly timed, reality-breaking counterattack. They will rely heavily on Al-Dawsari's fading magic. They will hope Abdulhamid's European steel holds the defensive line. They carry the immense weight of a rapidly transformed nation. Every tackle matters. Every sprint counts. The shadow of 2022 covers the entire pitch.
Can they survive the group of death? The ghosts of Lusail demand blood. My honest prediction? Well, they crash out in the group stage. The opposition is simply too strong. The tactical cracks are too wide to hide. Donis arrived too late to fix the structural damage. But they will leave everything on that pitch. They will fight like cornered lions. They will make the world remember their name. They will bleed green.
The final whistle blows. The story ends, or perhaps it just begins. The intense road to 2034 starts right here in North America. The fire burns brighter than ever. Which team are you supporting at World Cup 2026? Drop it below in the comments of this explainer. So, did you find today's explainer useful?
Then definitely drop a like, share it out, and subscribe to join the family.
Tell us, what should we explore next? Stay well.